wait. Don't wait until tomorrow to do something you can do today. And whenever we hear that, we always think of something that's work-oriented. And there is no sense in waiting till tomorrow to do something that you can do today. But that phrase doesn't always have to do with work. Work isn't everything. There's things that are more important than work. That could be things like telling someone that you care for them, or visiting a friend, or maybe even telling someone that you love them if it's appropriate. We live in a time now where when we grow up, we normally move away from our small town or city, or sometimes even our country, and we lose contact with people around us, our family, our friends, or maybe we just don't stay in contact quite enough. But what I'm talking about tonight, about not waiting, is when we get those little promptings on the inside of us, the more like feelings of sometimes things that we should be doing. It could be something like, I should take my wife to dinner tonight, to a place where we used to go. She used to like that. It meant so much to her. And normally that goes right out the window after we think about it. It could be something like, I haven't spoke to my mom or dad in a while. I should give them a call. I remember before my mom passed away, I used to call her nearly every Sunday. And I know that after she passed away, every Sunday that came around, my heart hurt. And it hurt for years afterwards. I missed those little conversations that we had about nothing. Didn't matter. I visited a friend the other day at a baseball field. He was there with his son playing baseball and another little boy. And the little boy's father was not there, so there was only 3 of them, so I jumped in and figured that I would play with them. And the boy's father did show up eventually, and I remember watching the interactions between the fathers and the sons. And I remember that the father that showed up late, when he was throwing the ball to his son, that little boy had his glove up and he was running towards it. And the look that was on his face is undescribable. I can't describe it right now, of the pride and the joy that he had when he was catching his dad's ball. He was catching his dad's ball. That meant more to him than anything else in the world at that moment. I listened to a man speak just recently, and he was talking about a friend of his, a very successful man. And he'd always been meaning to stop by and talk to the man, and he wanted to invite him to church is what he wanted to do. But this man was very successful, lived in a big house, and every time this fellow that told this story would drive past his house, he'd look at this big house and he'd think to himself, you know, that man has everything. Why would he want to come to church with me? So he would just go on with his business. And one day as he was coming through in front of the man's house, he noticed a lot of cars around the house, so he decided to stop and see what was going on. Well, he went in and he found that his friend had just taken his own life. The man had been plagued with chronic pain and a lot of issues that he just thought was too much for him to handle. And I know that the man that told this story just felt deep regret that he had never stopped and talked to his friend and just invited him to church. He thought maybe he could do something for him. About 8 months ago, I rekindled an old relationship with a friend of mine. He was a man that had worked for me years ago. And he was a salesman of mine, and we always liked each other. But I'd never thought that it was appropriate to get too friendly with him because he was an employee. But that was a lot of years ago, and a lot of times went past and I had sold that company and Jerry had retired, and I always drove past Jerry's road, and for no good reason, never stopped. I always wanted to stop and see Jerry. So about 8 months ago, I just made that right-hand turn and picked up the phone and called him up, and I said, "This is Lowell. You home? I'm coming over." And this fellow was so happy that I had done that. He said, "Hello, stranger, come on over." So I did, and Jerry and I got to be really good friends. I started going over there probably twice a week, I would say, and we would sit around and we would have a beer and we would watch the Financial Channel. And Jerry, being older than I, he had vast knowledge on things that I didn't, financial markets and different things. We had a lot of stuff in common. And he really enlightened me in ways that he gave me something that I don't think I could have gotten anywhere else. It was almost as if God wanted me to rekindle that relationship. And I didn't know it the day I left there that it would be the last time that I ever saw Jerry. But he died 3 days later. And I guess what I'm saying to you tonight is don't wait. Don't wait to rekindle that old relationship. Don't wait to call someone that you haven't spoke to, or don't wait to tell somebody that you love them. Don't wait till tomorrow to do something that you can do today. Thank you.